most. Let it be no more. Let it be no more than what you put in your mouth.
Interview with you in this last.
Oh, yeah.
No. In that is this album. Okay, let me check if every.
Yes, we have to record.
I've got this.
Oh, great. Better, I think. Let me record the session. Run the equipo. Okay. Okay, let's begin. Hello, Mr. Paul Gilbert. This is Jordi Targa from Barcelona and Yolanda Sabater from Canterbury, both writing for Stairway to Rock in Spain. Hello, Yolanda.
Hello, how are you?
I'm
Good.
doing great. Thank you.
Okay, first of all, thank you for your time and congratulations for your new album, Rock, WROC. But first of all, can I ask you, where are you right now?
Oh, I'm sorry. Ask me what?
Where are you right now in
Oh,
your
where am I?
studio?
Oh, I'm at home in my studio in Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon. Okay. Okay, every time that I see that Paul Gilbert is going to issue a new album, I think that we can expect the unexpected. Your last album was the Dio album, and now we have got your Washington Rules Incivility that takes inspiration in the 16th century. So it's amazing and a really original topic, I think.
Well, I wanted to sing about something, and I actually read this book, the Washington Rules of Civility, years ago. You know, decades ago, I had read this, and I forgot about it, and somehow it came back into my head, and I started to think about, you know, could I make it into songs? So I tried one, and the first song that I wrote was "Show Not Yourself Glad at the Misfortune of Another." I came up with the song, and I really liked it. So I thought this idea sounds crazy, but so far it's working. So I kept going.
I was wondering to ask you if that book is, I don't know, mandatory in high school in United States, or why this book?
I don't know why. I mean, other than when I tried it, it was fun. I think I liked the contrast of these rules of how to behave, you know, politely and respectfully, which is very different sometimes than rock and roll lyrics. You know, rock and roll, it's like, I want to fight and I want to cause trouble. Not all the time, but, you know, that can be a, you know, I want to be rebellious, you know, where this one is like, you know, how to get along with people. and so I thought that was an interesting contrast to the usual rock and roll subject. And also although the original book was actually in French, but it was translated to English, and it was translated to English hundreds of years ago. So the style of the English is very old English, and it's not the way that anyone talks anymore. So it's an interesting way to try to sing it, because it's, you know, when you first see it, you think like, oh, you know, how can I sing it? I can't even speaking it feels strange. But I found that was a great challenge, and when I would find a melody that fit, it would just feel wonderful, and I'd be in a good mood.
I can imagine you trying to create music with the tricorn hat. Yes, was really.
Well, that was, you know, over the years I've done a lot of different costumes, I suppose. You know, there was on Spaceship One, I was an astronaut. On Racer X Superheroes, I was the Electric Bat. On Alligator Farm, I was an alligator. You know, so you know, sometimes it's fun to try to be a character, and it's a pretty cool looking hat. You know, and certainly, you know, like Paul. There have been rock bands that have worn tricorn hats before. Paul Revere and the Raiders. I think Adam Ant might have had one. Yeah, I can't remember.
Not sure.
Yeah. And it's sort of a pirate look too.
I hope that your upcoming concerts you will wear the hat, the tricorn.
Well, I have to find a box for it because it's big. I'll
Yeah.
have to get a road case.
So that means you don't have yet the final idea of your costume on live, the upcoming shows.
Well, so far my thought is I'll put on the main outfit, and then I can have the hat like on top of my amp, and then I can play like the older songs, technical difficulties or Mr. Big songs or whatever. And then when comes time for the new songs, get the hat. Like, okay, now we're gonna do the Washington songs.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong, this is the last album in which you sang.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So maybe the something the headliner is Paul Gilbert sings again.
Well, it's being a rock singer is hard. It's because when you sing rock, you have to be singing like as loud as you can the whole night, and that's
Yeah.
I think for any singer that's a really hard job to do. And so when I did this album, I made sure it's not just the whole thing on the top of my range. I'm not singing the highest, loudest note I can the entire time. Sometimes I'll hit that high note, but a lot of it's like the lower range as well, and all through my vocal range. So I think I've got a better chance of surviving a live show because it's it uses every part of my voice.
I don't know if it's like a topic, but usually the guitar players has not really good voice, but it's not your case. So I think it's a good idea that you return to sing.
Well, it's also the voice. I mean, there's certainly some voices that when if you hear a great rock singer, Steven Tyler, Robert Plant, Rod Stewart,
Yeah.
or Paul McCartney, they do have great voices, but everyone has a unique voice, and
sure.
that's sort of a cool thing because even though it may not be the voice of your hero, like obviously I did the Dio album. I mean, Ronnie James Dio, one of the greatest voices ever, and I knew that I couldn't, with my voice, I couldn't sing like him, so I used the guitar, but I do have my own unique sound, and that is an influence for how I'll write, and so I think it's worth it to explore that because it's always going to give you something that's special.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the songs because fans have got the opportunity to watch two videos. There is the song "If You Soak Bread in the Sauce." By the way, amazing song, really melodic and original. So I want to ask you about if you are happy with press and fan opinions in YouTube.
I'm sorry, talk about what the fans.
Yeah, about
The
fans'
opinions.
opinions in YouTube comments.
So one more time, I just didn't hear very well.
Yeah, in your video, it's in YouTube, okay? Yeah, and people have the opportunity to write about
the comments, yeah.
Yeah, comments, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can't have. I mean, I think the reason I look at them is that they are, for the most part, pretty good. If I get a lot of bad comments, then I'd be like, I'm not going to look. I'm never going to read those. But for the most part, they're very encouraging, and yeah. So it's a nice way to get a reaction, when you're not playing live. Obviously, if you do a live concert, you can look in people's eyes and you can see people smile. So I guess it's sort of the typed version of that.
This song, in particular, is inspired in any traditional music, or for me has some remembers of Celtic music, Ireland. I don't know this particular song.
So I'm sorry. Say it one more time.
The song "If You Soak Bread in Your in the Sauce" has any inspiration in traditional music, like old
Folk.
music of your country, or
folk music.
Yeah.
So say it one
No.
more time.
Uh,
If the inspiration of the music of that song comes from the old musics like folk, Celtic music.
Oh, okay. Which song?
If you soak bread in the sauce.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that one. Actually, the chords kind of came from the Partridge Family theme, which was like a. Do you know the Partridge Family? It was a TV show that was on when I was a
No.
kid. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It was this TV show about a family that was a rock band,
Ah,
and that was on and I loved it when I was a kid because it was on early enough where I could watch it because all the cool music shows were on at midnight, and I couldn't stay up late enough to watch that when I was a little kid. So my only chance to see an electric guitar on TV was to watch this TV show called The Partridge Family, and it had a really good like pop song that was the theme song, and when I wrote if you soak bread if you soak bread in the sauce, I didn't mean to do it. I just after I wrote it, I went like, oh, that's the Partridge Family chords. So if you listen to that song, it's not exactly the same, but there's definitely an influence. And then the second part of it, I just sort of came up with on my own. But yeah, I mean, I've listened to so much. I mean, I don't know much about the newer music, but like from the '60s and the '70s and the '80s, I listened to so much music and also a lot of pop music. A lot of things are on the radio, and a lot of things that were written by keyboard players. So like all the hits from the '70s, like Elton John and the Carpenters, and Todd Rundgren, all those '70s hits. A lot of that stuff I've tried to figure out on guitar, and so I can use in my songwriting, and of course the Beatles and the Beach Boys. So that's and Queen. Like the other day I was listening to on Queen has an album called Jazz, and the song in there called Jealousy, and that style of writing that Freddie Mercury did in that era of Queen, like that's I'm always trying to do that. Like that's kind of what I'm searching for, where it's like the melodies are really strong, but the chords are kind of surprising, and that really came from the Beatles. That was very John Lennon, Paul McCartney style of writing.
Hey, one of the most surprising songs is the last one, George Washington Rules. Pure rock and roll and fresh at the end of the album. Good ending.
Yeah, that one. That was the one song where I actually wrote the lyrics myself. So instead of the lyrics coming from the book, I just wrote them myself. And the music, it's straight ahead, sort of boogie rock, but the solo is actually really challenging because I took some chords that are more from like gospel chord changes, and which to me they sound really normal, but when you actually try to play them and try to play a solo over it's almost like having to be a jazz player. So I really had to practice to get that solo right.
Okay, something that I love is Nick DiVirgilio is playing in the album, is playing in the videos. So it's what an amazing drummer and singer.
Yeah, well, I'm so happy that we could record the album live in the studio, because that means you can have good videos. Because we set up cameras, and we have videos for every single song, because it was all live in the studio. I mean, afterwards I went back and I re-sang a lot of it. So because I knew I could get the vocals better if I did some overdubbing, and the harmonies I overdub. But all the band stuff and the guitar solos is all live.
We had the opportunity to interview a band where he plays, that is a Big Big Train. Do you know them and do you like?
Oh, I'm sorry, say it one more time.
He's
Nick
playing
DiVirgilio.
in Big Big Train. So do you like? It's because we interviewed them like in December. Do you like the band Big Big Train?
Well, I love Nick,
Okay.
and I haven't heard the band.
Oh,
It's so hard to get me to listen to new music.
Oh no, really bad.
I'm terrible. I'm sorry. Like I haven't. If I had to hum a melody, from the last 25 years, I probably know three melodies. I hardly listen to anything. I listen to all kinds of new music that I discover from the '60s, or I'll go back and find, like, I found this album by Peggy Lee recorded in the mid '60s, and I listened to it like hundreds of times. But somehow new music, I'm terrible. My apologies.
Try
I know some Darkness albums. I like the Darkness.
Yeah.
Okay, when you were young, you wanted to be a drummer. Later, you wanted to be singer, and finally, guitar player. Is it true?
I think, but not necessarily in that order. I think I wanted to be a singer, then a guitar player, then a drummer, and then finally, after trying all of those, I realized guitar was probably my best instrument. But I think I still have the most fun with drums. Like I always have a kit set up, and I'm sort of my happiest because you can't play a wrong note. It's like every note is a good note, and guitar, you're more likely to make a mistake, but I've trained on it well enough where I usually get it right, and then vocals feel good because the instrument is you. And you can, your body resonates, and also you can sort of sing whatever you hear instantly. So all those things have their good points.
Okay, your last concert. We are from Spain, so the last time that we see you on the stage was with Mr. Big in Barcelona, and then the band decided to stop, finish their career. So the question is, this is a definitive goodbye?
Oh, did I think what?
If it's
If you, Mr. Big will never return.
that's the question.
So is that the end of Mr. Big?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, you break my heart.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay.
Because there are a lot of bands.
Yeah, I might play a couple Mr. Big songs in my set though.
Yeah.
Whether I play Eric's vocals on guitar, or whether I change the key for myself, or I still might play the songs once in a while.
But what an amazing band! The characters, the people. I think it's a really special band. There are a lot of bands that that finish their career, but you returned once with this album. I think that this album is amazing.
So, I'm sorry, say that again.
Which is your opinion about this album? What if it's the album when the band returned?
So I love that album. I remember working with Kevin Shirley on that one, and that was one of my best live in the studio experiences, because Kevin was very insistent. It has to be live in the studio, but I still couldn't quite hear the question.
No, if just asking.
Okay.
About this was special for you. Because was a return.
Yeah, that was. I love doing that record. It was. It taught me a lot about not worrying about it being perfect. I always have this one memory where Kevin Shirley, the producer, he said, "I want you to do like a Brian May guitar harmony in one of the songs." And I can't remember which song it was, but there's he said, just work it out and we'll overdub it. And so I kind of wrote down the notes so I could remember how it went. I said, okay, well, let me try it. And I recorded it. And he goes, okay, we got it. I said, no, that was just to see if it worked. I said, now I want to play it, play it really well. I said, I wasn't even trying to play it. And he goes, no, it sounded better that way. And I was like, yeah, but there's a couple little things I could play it better. And he's like, nope. And he kept that first take, and I think it was a good choice because it has like a more natural. I wasn't worrying about it. I was just like playing it to enjoy it and check it out, and so a very different mindset. And he was always going for that like relaxed mindset instead of okay, I'm gonna play it perfect right now. And I learned a lot from that experience.
How many time we have? It's like finished, or do you have more interviews? Or
Say it again.
do you have more interviews?
Later.
Not today.
Perfect.
Okay.
So, because I just have one question in mind. When you record an album, there is a space for impro in your records.
Say it again.
Is the word in English, no? Impro. That means, for example, you think in a solo and you play in that moment, and it's a record that you include in the last version.
Oh, do I
Or
improvise?
you prefer to record 3 or 4 times?
Yeah. Well, it's a little of both. It sort of depends on the song, but I think there's something that I'm not very good at that I wish that I want to get better at, and that is like writing songs that have a long section where you can improvise. Because when I was a kid, I didn't like to listen to that. You know, like I'd hear a song on the radio like "Light My Fire" by the Doors. It's got a long solo, and as a kid, that was boring to me. I'd be like, just when's the singer gonna come back? And so even though I love playing guitar solos, as a fan, I like short solos. Like if you listen to Van Halen, Eddie's solos are always really short, and I love that. But as time has gone on, I've started to change, and now I do like the long solos now, and I can listen to them and I enjoy them. But so an example of maybe the beginning of that is there's a song on the new album called "Show Not Yourself Glad at the Misfortune of Another," and the end of that song, if I want to, I can extend it and make it really long and have like a long live version where I just go and improvise like crazy. And in the studio, I'm still a little careful with that. I was thinking like, I don't want to bore the audience, so I try to keep it relatively short for the studio. But yeah, I think that one live I might go a bit longer.
Hey, let's time for an iconic moment. In Daddy, Brother, Lover, Little Boy, Billy Sheehan and Paul Gilbert play the song music and electric drill fitted with guitar picks. Do you remember who was the man or the woman who says, let's do this thing?
Well, the playing guitar with the drill started back in Racer X, before I was even in Mr. Big. And we were really just doing it. I mean, at that time, we were trying to think of anything to make the show more interesting. So, whether we had, pink pants or, giant hair or big amps, it was just something visually to keep the audience interested. And all the people that would come to see us, like every time we would get a review in a magazine, they would say, "Oh, Racer X, they play fast solos." Like that was all they would say. It's like, "Oh, the fast solos." That was like the big thing people would notice. And so in a way, I just wanted to take that idea and just go crazy with it. So I thought, putting the picks on a drill, that would just be taking the fast solo idea and making it ridiculous.
But it's iconic. I think a lot of people remember this trick. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it always makes people smile. Whenever I do that on stage, I can see the whole audience smiling.
Okay, time to talk about Racer X. I suppose it will be absolutely impossible to have a return.
Oh, maybe. Well, actually, on the tour that I'm getting ready to do now, Jeff Martin is the drummer on my upcoming tour because I wanted to have Nick because he played on the album, but Nick was busy with some stuff for his drum company. Jeff's going to come out, and we're still great friends. And I don't know, maybe while we're on the road, we'll if we're on the bus with nothing to do, maybe we'll write a Racer X song.
Okay, good, interesting. Yolanda. Good.
Oh, I'm sorry, say it again?
No.
Sí, sorry. Classical or no?
No, maybe I want to ask about
the next one.
I have seen that in your last shows you play Led Zeppelin cover songs. I am wondering about if you did this album with Dio, why not for Led Zeppelin? It could be possible.
Well, I've been doing a Led Zeppelin medley in some of my live shows. It's the medley's crazy. It's like over a half an hour long of all these Led Zeppelin songs, and I sang a lot of it. But when it comes to like the really high songs, like for example the song "Rock and Roll," you know those vocals are so high, and so I play all those parts on guitar. So yeah, that's possible, but I don't know. I'll just have to think of it when I come to it. I think there's so many singers that and when I think about playing singers on guitar, I always think of the high singers because those are the ones that I can't reproduce with my own voice. So I would think like TNT, you know, with Ronnie Let's was the guitar player. I can't remember the name of the singer.
Tony Harnell?
Yeah, Tony Harnell. Yeah, and you know, incredibly high voice. So that works great on guitar. Or Boston. You know, Brad Delp. You know, those vocals are super high. Or Hart. You know, with Ann Wilson. You know, or of course Steven Tyler. You know, so those songs, and I've done some of those. Like on some of my shows before, I remember I did an instrumental version of Barracuda by Hart. I did Last Child by Aerosmith, and of course my album Stone Pushing Uphill Man. I did Back in the Saddle by Aerosmith.
Just before the time. Oh, no, Yolanda, please.
No, just other two songs that you play on live, the Darkness song and a snippet of A Whiter Shade of Pale. So why the Darkness and Procol Harum?
Also, what was the first? Whiter Shade of Pale, and what was the other one?
Take your hands out of my woman from the Darkness. I think it's
Oh no.
the Darkness, the band, the Darkness. Or maybe I'm not. Okay, let's go just for A Whiter Shade of Pale. Procol Harum.
Oh, right. Well, that's such an amazing song. And actually, with on the Mr. Big tour, we played that song as like the walkout music. So as soon as the Mr. Big show ended, we put on Whiter Shade of Pale just on over the PA. And so it had a kind of emotional feeling from it, like, you know, it felt like the end of Mr. Big's. the song that's the sound of the end of Mr. Big, and of course I love the version that with Sammy Hagar and Neil Schon. They did a version I think in the 80s that was great. So I was thinking about that version as well.
I love this song. I think it's something magic in this one. Why not let's go for the ending with our last three classical questions, Yolanda?
Yes. Do you remember the first album that you bought with your own money?
I say it one more time.
If you remember the first album that you bought with your own money.
Oh.
Ooh.
Wow.
I still have it.
The Osmonds Crazy Horses.
Yeah.
I don't know them. Do you know them, Jordi?
No, but I think it's the first time that I asked for the question and the interviewed shows the album. Wow. Amazing. So how important was this album for you?
Well, they were on TV. And again, as a kid, you know, I mean, now, you know, if there's a young kid growing up, they've got YouTube. They can see anything. But when I was a kid, you know, to see a rock band on television was very rare. And the Osmonds, they actually had a cartoon. So every Saturday morning, I could see the cartoon Osmonds, you know, playing a song, and I could see some electric guitars. And once in a while, the real Osmonds would make an appearance too. And you know, they were kind of known as a pop band, but also, you know, the Merrill Osmond, great rock voice, and there's some really, you know, heavy rock songs on that album.
The second classical question: you have had of all the money that you can imagine, but only for a show, for production. Which tricks would you bring on stage? Fire, lasers, drills?
Oh my
Horses.
goodness. To me, the most important part is a band and an audience. um, well, I would just like to hire a good lighting person, like on the last Mr. Big tour. I mean, Mr. Big, is a fairly big band, so we can afford to have our own sound man, but we did never had our own light person on the last tour, so we'd always use a local person, and sometimes the local person was great, and sometimes not so great, and so that would be an amazing luxury just to have my own lighting designer.
Mhm. And the final one?
Yes. Have you ever cried in a concert? And do you remember the song and the band?
Oh, did I ever cry?
Mm.
Oh yeah. Todd Rundgren.
Oh.
When I saw Todd Rundgren around 1991 or 1990, and he did a song called "Hawking," a song about Stephen Hawking, the astrophysicist. And it's like a gospel song. It is so beautiful. It's a slow ballad and a lot of harmonies. And I was, I've never cried so much in my life. It was such a great performance. Yeah, so that was probably the main one. And then when I'm at home, sometimes I'll watch YouTube, and there's a performance of Janis Joplin on the Tom Jones TV show, and she does a song called "Little Girl Blue." And man, when she sings the first line of the second verse, that just tears me apart. I cry every time I watch that.
I'm gonna take note of both and listen.
Yes, I am
Okay.
taking homework for later. Okay, the interview is over, but if you can say, hello, this is Paul Gilbert. I got a new album. Please check our interview in Stairway to
Way
Rock.
to rock.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody, this is Paul Gilbert. You are listening to Stairway to Rock, and check out my new album, Rock.
Thank you very
Perfect.
much. And thank you for the interview. It was really funny.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, hope to see you in Spain.
Hope. I
Yeah,
hope.
hopefully.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you.